Hey guys, today I come to you with a review that I would have liked to do earlier, but as we all know, life just sometimes has to throw a stick in our spokes, doesn't it? So, with no more further beating around the bush, let's talk about Alpha and Omega. Yeah, I would have preferred to review this movie before the holiday season last year, so that we'd have a little bit of context going into the second movie, but again, things happen, and frankly, I could not sit on this movie until next year. As soon as I was done watching it, I had to review it immediately to get it out of my system. So yeah, Alpha and Omega 1. First of all, I need to point out that I did a bit of research, and contrary to my earlier remarks in my Alpha and Omega 2 review, it turns out that the word Omega actually is used to describe wolves who are of a lower status within their packs. So yes, my bad for not checking my sources, but at the same time, this is still the movie that wants to tell us that wolf packs have just as many alphas as they do betas and omegas. They're not making themselves look like they really know what they're talking about here. Anyway, our movie opens with a much younger Humphrey goofing around with his Omega brothers, and our main alpha Kate is practicing her hunting skills by chasing around her sister, Lily. Of course, their paths have to cross, and they decide to defy the laws of physics for a bit.
The lift is up where we belong, where the eagles cry on the mountain high.
But it turns out that their love, or rather Humphrey's love, since she only sees him as a friend, is a love that can never be.
I know you're Kate's friend, Humphrey, but by next spring, she will be a trained alpha, the future leader of the pack. No doubt you'll be a clever Omega. Learn to keep the peace. And Humphrey, alphas and omegas can't how do you say it? That's our custom. The law of the pack.
Yes, apparently it's a taboo for an Omega to be involved with an Alpha, and Humphrey had to be told this in his adolescence, when anyone else with half a brain could easily tell this just through simple observation. I'm not really sure that clever is the best word you can use to describe this guy. So Kate goes off to Alpha School for the winter, where she learns the finer points of being an Alpha. Yes, being an Alpha is something that you train for, making me wonder why Kate is even considered an Alpha before she even goes to her training, and why her sister has to be stuck with being a lowly Omega. How does this caste system work?
Omegas don't play like this! You can't escape the greatest alpha ever!
So the winter comes and goes, and Humphrey and his pal spot Kate and the other alphas stalking some caribou. But then some other alphas from another pack horn in on the hunt, and they start a stampede. And it seems that Kate learned some parkour while she was at Alpha School.
Whoa!
And you will not see me complain about adding this to the because dogs can totally do that list, because that's just frickin' awesome.
Whoa!
Before the alphas can tear each other's throats out, the omegas cut in and break it up with their comedic antics. Yes, while it's up to the alphas to do all the hunting, which I thought was the responsibility of the entire pack, but I could be wrong, the omegas have the job of being playful to keep up morale. Not entirely sure how doing a body slam on these wolves is supposed to make peace, but it seems to work, so let's move on. Kate's disappointed by her first hunt going bust, which is actually a pretty big deal since the rest of her pack seems to be going through a bit of a food crisis. Oh god, I forgot that the horrific wolf pup designs in the next movie were introduced in this movie! I guess it helps that we never see these pups in close-up, thank goodness.
Guys, honestly, caribou's overrated. Instead, now keep an open mind, we bring you berries! Oh. How about squirrels? Bad joke. Flying squirrels.
You know, Humphrey, they say that comedy is tragedy plus time. If you want to joke about this food crisis after it's passed and everyone in your pack is all fully nourished, that's fine, knock yourself out. But you want to joke about this in the midst of this food crisis? Everyone's just going to look at you like you're dripping with barbecue sauce. We then see Winston, Kate's father and the leader of the Western Pack, meet with Tony, leader of the Eastern Pack. And as bad as things are for Winston's pack, apparently food is even more scarce for Tony's.
Unite the packs, Winston. It was you who gave the big speech that your daughter Kate and my son Garth would marry and unite the packs.
Huh?
Garth knows his responsibility. Does Kate?
Don't worry. She knows.
Good. Then she can meet Garth tonight at the Moonlight Howl. I won't let my pack starve, Winston. If we have to, we'll fight for the valley.
But Kate overheard all of that, and she dutifully agrees to go along with their plan. And why does she need to be a part of their plan? Since combining their hunting efforts would obviously be more beneficial than being in competition with each other, why complicate matters by putting Kate and Garth together? Frankly, it would make a lot more sense if they just put all of their Omegas together and have them sing, "Why Can't We Be Friends?" They are supposed to be the peacekeepers of these packs, aren't they? Why not let them have a part in uniting the packs? After all, as the almighty Jack tells us, haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
You're crazy.
So the Moonlight Howl comes later that night, where all the wolves show up to get their freak on. And while I bash on this movie, the only thing that you won't hear me complain about in any way whatsoever is the soundtrack. The other Omegas try to hit up some of the ladies, but it doesn't exactly work.
Hey. That's all I've got.
Oh, do let me guess. These ladies show up at this social gathering which was designed for the sole purpose of hooking up, but they're just here to hang out with their girlfriends, right? Humphrey notices Kate as she arrives, and... wait a minute. What's that? Why can we see stars where the dark side of the moon is supposed to be? Is half of the moon actually gone? Oh my god. Unicron's pulling himself back together somehow and he's already eaten half of the moon! Everyone grab all the bad movies and comics you can! Humphrey goes off to howl with Kate, but she's more focused on the studly alpha from the Eastern Pack, Garth.
Hey, Kate!
Garth? Humphrey!
Oh, my butt! My butt! Wow, that really hurt. You should really do something about that cough. Be careful, Kate. There's something going around.
And with that, Humphrey started a war between the two packs that would last for generations to come. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen! Seriously though, ignoring how dumb it is that apparently no one got the memo that the future of these packs hinges on Kate and Garth getting it on, are we really supposed to be siding with Humphrey here?
Wow, you are a big one, aren't you? Wow, you're practically a moose. Where are you hiding the antlers?
Without any kind of provocation whatsoever, our protagonist just starts insulting someone he doesn't even know. And the movie will go on to show that Garth is a pretty stand-up guy, so really, Humphrey is just being a jerk. You're not making me want to follow this guy, movie, and I love rooting for the underdogs. Kate shoos Humphrey away to hang out with her sister Lily. Oh no, you poor thing, having to hang out with the ridiculously cute and adorable Lily. And Garth tries to lay some moves on Kate. But sadly, that doesn't exactly work like he thought it would.
I'm just hold on a sec, because I'm gonna be right back.
Oh yeah. Kate was willing to sacrifice any chance of finding love on her own terms, and possibly finding any happiness with anyone else ever again, just for the sole purpose of uniting the packs, and all of that is thrown out the window just because of a bad howl. That is how big of a deal this is. Although, this does make me wonder if howling is the ultimate decider in whether or not a male will be able to pass on his genes, Shouldn't that have been something worth learning in Alpha School? Anyway, Humphrey decides to further insult Garth, because Kate doesn't feel humiliated enough, but then they get hit by a couple of tranquilizer darts. Nice special effects here, by the way. This hallucination is brought to you by Windows Movie Maker, adding weird colors to your slideshow since 2000.
Pack 'em up, boys. We're going to Idaho.
They're released in Sawtooth, Idaho, and they try to get some directions home from a duck and a goose, named Patty and Marcel, playing a little game of golf. After a pointless chase scene where they once again make gravity their bitch, Patty here tells them why they were captured.
You were, relocated to, repopulate?
Yeah, how's that for a twist? We have a kids movie that's starring animals, and the first humans that we see actually want to help the animal kingdom by boosting their numbers. Well, give this movie a point for thinking outside the box. Of course, Humphrey's all for it, but Kate insists that they get back to their home in Jasper, Canada as soon as possible. Luckily, these two know how to get to Jasper, and even more luckily, Kate actually knows that it's called Jasper when you think that these wolves wouldn't know how to read, and they lead them on their journey home. They hitch a ride with a biker and a librarian who just happen to make a yearly road trip from Sawtooth to Jasper. That's pretty freaking convenient. And why did they have to be a biker and a librarian? To further drive the point home that apparently love has no boundaries. Even though we already know from the beginning of this movie that these two wolves who aren't supposed to be together will end up being together. You really don't need to foreshadow what's so blatantly obvious, movie. Meanwhile, tensions are growing between the wolf packs, and Tony gives them until the next full moon before they take the valley by force. Ignoring the fact that, again, they really shouldn't need Kate to be with Garth for there to be a peace between them, giving them until the next full moon isn't really that much of a ticking clock. Looking at the phase of the moon from last night, the last full moon was clearly a few nights ago, meaning that we've got just under a month for Kate and Humphrey to get back. Or what's more likely is that these animators just didn't bother checking to see what phase the moon should be in to imply that the next full moon is very near. Nitpicking, I know, but you can't exactly say that it's almost sunset when it's actually 10 in the morning now, can you? And while Kate and Humphrey partake in the predictable story where they eventually grow closer because they depend on each other to survive the perilous journey home, we get to see Garth and Lily have some chemistry together, which, frankly, I think works a lot better since they don't really need each other. Lily is just showing Garth around their valley while waiting for Kate to come home, and the relationship growing between them just happens naturally instead of being contrived and forced. And I mentioned this before in my Alpha and Omega 2 review, but it bears repeating. How do you spend any amount of time with Lily and not fall in love with her?
What am I?
You got me.
It's a turtle that fell and can't get up.
That's pretty good.
Okay, what's this? It's turtle roadkill.
What else can you do?
I just do turtles. One,
Two.
two,
3!
ow.
Lily! A turtle, right?
I told you, I don't hunt.
Tell me that you don't want to hug her! Humphrey takes the opportunity to relieve himself while they make a pit stop. You know, at the gas station where Kate Humph and their pups would eventually end up. And the owner of the station tries to shoot him after he gets into some garbage and looks like he's rabid. But Kate, much to the chagrin of the audience, comes to the rescue and they make their escape. They encounter more dangers on the way home, like a ravine that can only be crossed by swinging on a vine that shouldn't even be here in a coniferous forest. They then meet some random bear cub, and for some reason Kate does not try to stop Humphrey from messing with it, since an alpha like her should know that Mama Bear can't be too far away. I guess parkour was the only thing they teach at Alpha School, as opposed to something practical like how to avoid other predators. That's your tax dollars at work, people. But they eventually make it onto a freight train which, surprise surprise, just happens to be passing through Jasper. Apparently they've been hunting rabbits off screen throughout this entire movie, and they've only been eating their lucky feet. Back to Lily and Garth, where Lily teaches him to hone his howling technique. And again, this scene just completely outdoes whatever's going on with Kate and Humphrey. They're stuck together, so they have no choice but to help each other get home. Why are Lily and Garth together? No reason whatsoever. They're only spending time together simply because they want to. And they're helping each other with no other motivation than just to help each other. Garth wants to help Lily to come out of her shell, and Lily wants to help him get over that last hurdle that'll make him into the ultimate alpha, even if that means Kate'll be happy to take him away from her when she gets home. And lo and behold, she actually teaches him how to howl the way he should. And somewhere out there beneath the pale moonlight, Humphrey and Kate do a little howling of their own. Okay, that's not actually part of the movie, but come on, that is so what's happening here! But it seems their time is up, and the Eastern Wolves invade the valley. And where are the Omegas to calm everyone down? Oh, there they are.
Organic! Stop the insanity! Go organic! Stop the insanity! Go organic!
Yeah, never mind, they're all completely useless. Luckily, Kate and Humphrey arrive just in time before all hell can break loose.
I came back.
You came back to marry Garth.
Yes.
And unite the packs!
Wow, these wolves are kinda bipolar, aren't they? You will rue the day you crossed into my territory, you western filth! You wanna be friends? Yeah, okay. Kate prepares to marry Garth the next day, but Humphrey tells her that he's going to leave Jasper to see the world.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a little traveling. You know, seeing where the train takes me. And maybe I'll visit our friends the bears. Our old buddies, see how they're doing.
Yeah, you know what? That is a pretty good idea. But do you know what would be an even better idea? Rub yourself down with honey first, and then visit the bears. So Kate and Garth start the ceremony, but Kate backs out before it can be completed. Both she and Garth confess to their being in love with Omegas, and again, we see these wolves flip from being all lovey-dovey to wanting to eat each other. But all the commotion starts up another stampede. Yeah, why is the Western Pack having such a hard time hunting these caribou which are supposed to be in short supply? And Tony and Winston get caught in the middle of it. But then Humphrey just shows up from out of nowhere, without even showing Humphrey at a crossroads between his life in Jasper and leaving to see the world, but he's just here now, and he and Kate use that log sled trick to save them. Yeah, because it's not like you'd need snow for the sled to work, right? But in a cruel twist of fate, Kate gets trampled in the stampede.
Kate. I love you.
It should have been you, Humphrey! Ooh. No, of course, she's perfectly fine. No broken bones, no internal bleeding, not even any ruffled fur. She gets up just like nothing even happened.
Walk it off!
So the Alphas are allowed to be with their respective Omegas now, and the movie ends with an all-inclusive moonlight howl.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Ready.
Boy, boy, Humphrey sure can howl, can't he? I can't wait to see even more of his totally awesome howling in the sequel. And alongside the ending credits, we see storyboards, concept art, and unrendered computer models from the movie's pre-production. Normally, I would say that there's nothing wrong with a movie showing outtakes or photo montages during the credits, but this? I don't know, it just looks to me like the movie is trying to grasp for whatever plea for approval that it can. Come on, don't hate this movie. A lot of people worked hard on it. And believe me, I know how hard it is to make a movie, especially when the tedious, slow process of animation is involved. But that doesn't change the fact that this movie is just kind of meh. We've seen this story of two lovers from separate walks of life who shouldn't be together dozens of times already, and we know exactly where it's going to go. The animation is okay, but nothing really spectacular. But on the other hand, I really did enjoy Garth and Lily's subplot, and again, the soundtrack is very easy on the ears. All in all, this movie isn't too bad, but I feel like it just could have used a few more surprises here and there. But at least seeing Alpha and Omega 2 did give me a better appreciation for this movie. And I guess we can end talking about this franchise on a somewhat positive note in that case, since I've already reviewed Alpha and Omega 2, and it's not like there are any more terrible sequels that could be milked out of this thing, right? Oh...